Hi everyone, thanks for joining. I have something a little bit different for you guys today. I wanted to do a general reading for all signs for the full moon energy signature that's coming up on February 19th. That will be the full moon in Virgo. So I'm going to use the Voyager deck and I'm going to go straight ahead in and shuffle and get started with the layout using my holographic mandala spread. So please be with me while I'm shuffling. Put aside anything that you're doing so that your focus and your presence is fully with me here for the reading so that you can get most out of your time with me. While I'm shuffling, please check in with your higher self and your guides. Ask them to connect with my higher self and with my guides so that I can get clear and relevant messages from the feedback loop that we create together. And messages will be specifically tailored for you if you do that. So I decided to use the Voyager deck for the main spread for all signs to give an overview of the energy signature at this full moon. And then when that's done, I'm going to go with the other Morgan Greer deck that I use and pull cards for each sign to give a more specific take for each of the signs here. So we have the Nine of Crystals reversed, crossed by the Hierophant, Temperance reversed, Sage of Cups, Priestess, Seven of Wands reversed, the Hanged Man, the Emperor, Four of Crystals, Child of Cups reversed, Nine of Wands, Ace of Cups, Eight of Worlds, and Six of Crystals reversed. Okay. So what I feel is here as a general kind of energy signature for all of us is that there is a feeling here of a purification, a release, a letting go, but in a way that is very, very specific and localized is what I'm hearing. There's this energy here of like, there's this kind of broad sweeping energy of, I'm hearing forgiveness. I'm hearing also that there's this regenerative energy of purification and cleansing in a very broad sense, but through a very narrow sequence of, for each individual, meaning that will be a very specific way that it is reflected in your own experience. So the general theme, I guess, is purification, regeneration, and forgiveness. And for each of us in our own way, in our own life, that will play out specifically according to the issues and the karma that we're facing specifically at this time. And the energy that's coming through the universe via the lens of the full moon being projected onto the earth has something to do also here with, I'm hearing karma. The crossing card here is the Hierophant. And I feel from the energy of this card that there is something here around lineage. Like for each individual, there will be issues that are being processed, that are being cleansed, that are being forgiven, that are being purified, that relate specifically to the lineage that you come from, whether that be your genetic lineage, your actual family bloodline, and people that you know in this lifetime, and also people that you don't know from previous lifetimes, but that come specifically through the DNA pattern that you are being expressed through. That there's issues there around all kinds of sort of genetic issues and lineage issues that are being purged. I'm hearing there's a purge happening right now that is specific to, again, as I said, each person will have their own specific way that this plays out. But for a lot of us, I think there is a general theme here around lineage, around family, and around DNA. It's a processing of cleansing of DNA related to bloodlines, related to, I'm hearing genetic code. So there's something here around, it's almost like there's a portal opening up. Like I said, there's this very broad range I'm feeling of like an energetic bandwidth that's available on the planet, and it's being specifically processed like a laser for each person, specific to the frequency of your own being and the DNA that you're carrying. There will be the capacity and the ability to process and eliminate and burn up and release karma from entire genetic lineages at this time, specific to the intentions that you set, is what I'm hearing. And your willingness to participate, your willingness to stand up and say, I'm going to be available, I'm going to volunteer my energy to help process and release old karma from like lifetimes and lifetimes of genetic lineage from my whole bloodline. Basically, there's a moment here, that's what I'm seeing here. There's this opportunity for massive purging, for massive release of karmic energy that has been carried and transported through generations and generations and generations via DNA, via bloodlines, via genetic code. There is the ability here with the willingness and the volunteer energy and the intention set by each individual to help that process of elimination be as potentiated as possible. So what I'm hearing is that as much as you are willing to rise up and meet the karma of your entire lineage and be the person that's willing to volunteer to actually purge and release all that karma, all that code that's come through your DNA, that's what's available to us right now. So it's about being willing to participate, to volunteer. And there's no martyrdom in this, I must say. Like, it's very important to not feel like, you know, there's something special or unique about what you're doing. It's a very humble act of just being able to say to the universe that you are willing to take ownership for all of that, for all that karma, for all that history, and say it ends here. It ends here. I am willing to release myself from all the conditions of karma, of patterns, of behavior, of code that has been imprinted within my DNA from all the generations that have gone before me, with all the issues that have been carried. And I release that now. I purge that now. I am free now. All the people who have gone before me in my lineage are free now too. It's a very big moment here. It's a very powerful energy that I'm feeling. It's really beautiful too. So, other cards that are here that support this message, you have the Hangman with the Six of Crystals. The Hangman is upright, and the Six of Crystals is in reverse. Now, the Hangman is where I got the message, that the energy around volunteer, right? Volunteering. It's a volunteering energy. It's a surrendering energy. It's a participating energy. On the Voyager deck, if you can see here, the image on the Hangman is actually Jesus Christ. Now, whether or not you buy into that story of that being a real person at an actual time, it's not the point. What it's about is the energy that person represents in terms of Christ consciousness being the energy of being in service. And that's what I feel this is about. It's like, as individuals, we are able to set the intention to be available to that type of energy that is willing and able to process such karmic stuff in such a big way, but with a very calm, gentle humility with it. It's not a big deal. Unbothered. And the six of crystals here in reverse is saying to me that the name of this card is confusion, but it's in reverse here. And what I feel that is, the message here is that there is such a clarity here with this energy. There is such a clarity. There is a deep understanding that this is the right thing to do. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal, but it's not a big deal. There's no martyrdom here. There's no like fawning over yourself for how important and special you are because you're doing this thing. It's just the right thing to do. And now is the time. In this quadrant, we have the Emperor with the Eight of Worlds, both upright. I love this. I love this energy here. This feels to me like, again, there's this energy here of like standing in your own power, really feeling and embodying the clarity and the power that you are, the willingness to change. That's what I feel is here, is the Emperor. The Emperor has the willpower. He has that, the archetype of the Emperor is really embodying a sense of willpower activated, right? And the Eight of Worlds in this deck is called change. So it's like being an agent for change, being an empowered individual that is ready to stand in the seat of their own power and be the change that they're waiting for. It's up to each of us. In the Hopes and Fears quadrant, you have the Four of Crystals with the Ace of Cups, both upright. I love this energy too. Again, I feel like there is a clarity here with this process of purification and releasing. It's about unconditional love, fundamentally, just an opening to unconditional love, an outpouring of understanding, of compassion, of willingness. Again, I'm hearing also creativity and abundance. There is an energy here around being willing to, as I said, there's that energy of participation, of volunteering, of being available to the energies that are being sent to Earth now through this portal of the full moon. And using this time to set intentions to be available to this energy of opening, of purification, of healing, of blessing, I'm hearing, of release, of regeneration. It's like a waking up out of a hypnotic state. That's what the Four of Crystals feels like. You know, the Four of Swords in the Rider-Waite deck is that image of the person's kind of sort of laying down, sleeping, not sleeping, but they're in a meditative space of rest. So I feel that what the message is here with this particular pairing of cards is that it's about waking up out of a kind of hypnotic state of just being in a space of just like everything's okay as it is. And knowing that the shift that you're waiting for is actually inside you. It's inside you. It's up to you. Flick that switch on and come out of your slumber. Come out of your hypnotic state of just kind of going along with things the way they are, and wake up. Wake up to unconditional love. Wake up to your commitment, to your path of purification, of healing, of knowing, of understanding, High Priestess. Okay. And here in the position of the outcome card, you have Child of Cups and the Nine of Wands. Child of Cups is reversed. Nine of Wands is upright. Nine of Wands in this deck is called integrity. I really like this pairing here. So what I feel is the message here in these cards are the outcome. There's also the Seven of Wands here in reverse. And as I said earlier, Temperance is crowning the card. So what I feel here is that, again, I mentioned this at the beginning of the reading, but I'm going to reiterate because it's really important. There is this energy here around forgiveness. And I feel this card here, the Seven of Wands, is about putting down, it's almost like that genetic imprint that you have, that we all have, where we're carrying the wounds of past transgressions against people from our lineage, people who have been in our bloodline, who have had their own traumas and their own difficulties and their own stresses and their own anxieties. And that imprint or that information gets passed on through DNA, through genetic coding. And sometimes we find ourselves behaving ways or embodying understandings or ideas that we don't know where they came from. A lot of it's unconscious. Sometimes we're able to wake up to certain concepts that we realize that we've been carrying that are actually not coming from any place that we can consciously locate in our lifetime. And it's saying here that with this Seven of Wands in reverse, it's saying to me that, and with the Temperance also reversed, it's about putting down the defensiveness, putting down that maintenance of ideas and concepts that we carry that actually don't bear any truth to our own experience. These are understandings that are passed on genetically, through conditioning, through experience of other people that we carry through our DNA. And we don't need to keep carrying on with a kind of defensive, protective energy that is upholding certain concepts that are not true to us. They've been true to other people. And it doesn't mean that by dropping that story that we don't care about them. In fact, the opposite is true. It's an unconditional love that is flushing and purifying and releasing and regenerating and restoring energy to its sovereignty, its natural sovereignty. And that's what the Emperor is giving right now. And these cards here in the outcome, as I said, integrity and Child of Cups reversed. It is about restoring a sense of wholeness, and that's what the integrity brings. There's a discipline there with the Nine of Wands. I feel like there's a Saturn energy with that. There's an energy of discipline, it's also, Saturn is also the father, right? Also the Emperor. So I'm feeling like there is that energy again of like lineage, of DNA code, of impressions that have been passed on through our DNA, through our bloodline, through our lineage, that is coming from places where we're made of that stuff, but it's not necessarily our own experience. And so this is the opportunity for all of us to have that big flush that we really need. And in doing so, it's going to enable us to be able to restore more joy, more light, more openness, more freedom, greater compassion and understanding, liberation, Forgiveness is a huge theme here with the Temperance at the crowning card of this reading. At the bottom of the deck, we have Empress reversed, Strength, Sun reversed, and Ten of Worlds. Beautiful. Again, I feel like this is a time where, you know, the Empress, here with the Strength, and also we had the Emperor card here. So this pairing feels to me like there is also, with this restoration that's happening, it is a divine union of the self. It's a reclamation of parts of ourselves that we have given away through stories that don't belong to us, the information that we are embodying that was passed down to us, things that other people have fought and struggled against, but actually we never did. And it doesn't mean those struggles aren't real, those traumas didn't ever happen. It just means that we can forgive. It means we can let go. We can let go of that baggage, of that defensiveness, of that resistance, of that struggle, and just be in an embodiment of love and understanding and compassion and forgiveness. And that is where liberation exists. Now, Strength and the Sun here with the Ten of Worlds and the Empress. Also, what I would say here about that, the Empress card showing up here, is that it is about your physical health as well. There is a very strong indication here through all of these cards too that this purification that's happening on a cellular level, at a nano level in our DNA strands, has everything to do with energy cords that we carry through the historical bloodline that we are embodying, and that physical restoration of natural health, and again sovereignty with the Sun, with the Strength card here. I feel like there is a lightness that's returning. Lightness is returning, opening up within the body. There's like a cellular memory that's being restored, where we can release the blockages, release the hindrances, release the impediments that are the historical traumas and events of the past that happen to people that are in our bloodline. And some of these could be cultural things, they could be generational things, they could be, you know, errors and wounds and tragedies that happen to large groups of people that we also carry. You know, that kind of the memory of trauma exists for a lot of people after massive generational experiences have happened to large groups of people over time. So yeah, restoration of light by releasing some of that trauma that's held within, and allowing a recovery to happen where our physical well-being, our mental well-being, our emotional well-being is restored because of what we've been able to release and purify. It's very physical. With the Ten of Worlds here as well, it's very physical, it's very visceral, it's very tangible. And I also feel there with the Ten of Worlds that this is, again, that to me is just a nod to the message being accurate, that this is about legacy, right? The Ten of Pentacles is about legacy. So it's referring to, again, like things that have passed through from generation to generation. It's something lineage here. Ooh, that was a transmission. So that's the general reading for all signs. I'm going to take this Morgan Greer deck now that I usually use for the general readings, and shuffle again, and I'm going to pull a few cards for each sign and see if there's any specific messages for each of the zodiac signs, for things to look out for, or places to be aware while this full moon is happening. And of course the energy of this full moon will carry on for 2 to 4 weeks. It's not just for that one day, right? So just be aware of this energy, and pay attention to the messages that come through for each sign, so you can know where to place your attention. Let's start with Pisces, since we're opening up into the Pisces birthday month now. The Sun actually moves into Pisces the same day that the full moon is in Virgo. So, okay, let's see. What are the messages for Pisces? While I'm shuffling, please do send your energy over into the deck so that you can be a part of this reading by participating with your consciousness and not just witnessing and observing. Okay, Pisces. Four of Swords and the Emperor reverse. So we had these two cards here in the previous reading. So Pisces, again, I feel the message here is a reiteration of what I've said earlier, in that this is a time to wake up out of your hypnosis, wake up out of your slumber, wake up out of your sleep, and rise up into your sovereignty. Rise up into the seat of your true power and shake off those things that have been holding you back. Strive to release any of the things that you understand, that you can see, that you're aware, that the obstacles that you've placed in front of yourself. Remove those things by changing the mindset that you have. Understand where your power lies. It's within you. Stop making excuses. Stop looking outside of yourself for things to change. Things will change externally when you change internally, when you change the way you think, when you come up out of your slumber, when you wake up out of your hypnosis. Activate more of your willpower and your fiery center to kind of make that internal shift happen. Purify, shake off. I feel that also there's a specific message here for some Pisces that you may, the message earlier that with regard to familial and genetic and lineage issues that are being purified now, that for some of you, there may be some, for you specifically, some things to deal with regard to issues around the father. Perhaps some of you have had maybe some unhealthy or unhappy relationships with your father. Again, forgiveness is the overriding theme, so come back to that. So after Pisces, we have Aries. What do we have here? 6 of Pentacles and 4 of Cups reversed. For the Aries people, I feel that the message here is about Six of Pentacles and 4 of Cups. Aries. I feel that there's something here around generosity and being able to receive. I feel that for some of you, you may not have been as able to receive as you could be. And that in itself is a type of genetic, like lineage thing that is something that's in you that maybe you have available to you right now to purge and process and release. Right? I think there's something there about an inability to receive, an inability to accept help, an inability to allow abundance to come to you, allow friends to help you, allow family to help you, or allow loved ones to help you. And that can cause a feeling of deficiency or not enough or lack of, but actually it's just your ability to receive. And again, that comes from the place of self-acceptance and unconditional love, where you can allow reciprocity to be. It doesn't have to be always energy going out. You can receive too. And that's also a way of expressing self-love too, is to be able to be humble enough to accept help when it comes towards you. So let people help you. Let love towards you. Let generosity come in. Be available to that. And release any genetic coding in you that says that you don't deserve. Because you do. Let generosity come towards you. Okay, Taurus, let's see. Ace of Wands and Knight of Wands. Wow, I love this. So I should be holding the cards up. So the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Wands for the Taurus people. I feel that what is here, it's fiery energy. I feel like there's a sexual energy here. I feel there's some healing around sexuality for some Taurus people. I feel that there is an awakening that's happening in that area for some of you. I feel that there is a beautiful healing here available to you. I feel that there is a purification and a letting go of any type of resistance to your own sexual energy, to your own libido, to your own fire. You might feel like around this time that you're actually available and open to energy coming towards you from a fiery type of person. And the message here is to allow that in, to be open to that. And I feel like a lot of you are having this Ace of Wands here says to me that you are awakening to your own sexual potential, and you are becoming willing to express that. And it is also, again, part of this, healing and purification that is coming through your genetic lineage, that you're able to process and release any type of resistance or obstruction to expressing your own divine sexual energy. There is a healing around that. There is healing around your sexual energy here. I think there's also something to be said there about being able to express sexuality in a way that feels natural and calm and confident and normal. And there's like I feel like there's a freedom from hiding that's being released right now. There's an opening to expression that may not have been there for some time. And again, I feel like it's connected to a genetic lineage code that's in you, that is something that you're able to purge and bring to the light right now by being willing and available to sort of be the representation of your genetic lineage, and be available to say, I'm the one that's going to be saying, this is the end of the line of that story. It's the end of the line for that story. End of the line. Okay. Gemini, 5 of Pentacles, and the Magician reversed. So, Gemini, what we have here for you is a healing regarding, I feel there's a physical healing happening here. I think I think for some of you there has been, again, connected to your genetic makeup, your DNA, your coding, your lineage coding, issues around abundance that you're ready to shake off, that you're ready to resolve and release and heal and forgive. But I feel like there's also, this is more about physical ailments. I think there is some energy here around physical ailments that some people in the Gemini soul group are carrying, that is actually part of a bloodline, a genetic code that's coming through in DNA. And there is this energy here with the Magician reverse saying that you are willing now to draw the line. And this also feels like an exhaustion, just like the 5 of Pentacles does. I feel that there's something there around being willing to say, like, I do not accept, health diagnoses that are diminishing my energy as being simply a genetic thing. I don't accept that. I'm going to fight for my health and well-being, and I'm going to restore. And I'm going to release myself from any kind of, what's the word? I'm hearing submission. I'm hearing sentencing. So I feel that for some of you, you're not willing to accept the diagnosis that it's being given to you around some type of health issue, or just simply in general, like your health and well-being. I think that you're fighting more for your own freedom of health and well-being and wellness by taking matters into your own hand, by looking after your health, by eating well, by exercising, by meditation. And all these things will actually help free you and liberate you from these kinds of sentencings when medical diagnoses are given, and we're expected to believe that it's simply a genetic thing that's being passed on. But we understand that that's not true, and health and wellness is in the hands of each person. So Gemini, there's something there for you around health and well-being. If you've been feeling exhausted, use this full moon time to set your intention, to release that, to release whatever it is that is an impediment to your health and well-being, whether it's some type of unconscious belief that you're working with that's been acting on you that you don't know about, or whether it's some kind of conscious thing that you're aware of, whether it's like a health issue that has come through your family, and be willing to break the cycle. Be willing to end that lineage of karmic imprint with you, and not let it carry on forward anymore. Cancer, 2 of Pentacles and 9 of Pentacles. Beautiful. I love this. I also feel like, again, for the Cancerian people, there is also something here around physical health and well-being. I think there is also, with this 9 of Pentacles, there is something here about your physical health and well-being, but it's also about confidence. I think also with this 2 of Pentacles, also back and forth, it's like you are also breaking the karmic chain of your lineage, and ending that kind of like insecurity that comes along from generation to generation. And you're able to stand up and say, like, my sense of self is whole. I am complete. I am beautiful. I am well. I am healthy. I am a channel of light from the universe. And there is no sense of deficiency from any kind of like family baggage that's carried on here. There's this feeling of like completion in oneself for having really dug deep and strived for wellness that is yours to take if you really dedicate to it. There's something here for me about communication, because what's jumping out at me in both of these cards is on this girl's shoulders she's got a bird, and then in this card there's the feathers in the hat. So I'm feeling like there's something here about communication. There's also birds there in the background. I don't know if you can see that. There's birds here in this card. Anyway, the point that I wanted to make is that I feel that for the Cancerian soul group, there is something here about, it's about communication, specifically around like hidden communication or secrets, or like it's almost like there's people whispering quietly in a room and they're saying something about you, but somehow you hear it, and somehow that information that you hear, which was not really meant for you, had an effect on diminishing your self-esteem. But I think there's a waking up now to realize what those people were saying to each other about you was actually wrong. But maybe you heard something when you were younger that was whispered in quiet that you weren't meant to hear, but that was actually a dissonant energy, of something that was projected onto you that was not yours, but yet somehow you claimed it because you were young and impressionable, and you heard that thing and it kind of stuck. But actually, it's not about you. Those words should never have been spoken. And I feel like this is a moment for you to wake up to a freedom from that, a freedom from other people's projections, a freedom from other people's opinions, a freedom from things that are said about you, you know? Things that are said about you are not yours, actually. It's not your problem. It's the problem of those people who want to say that type of stuff, you know? Cancer, I think that's your message there. It's about purification. Don't forget. Just embody the energy of the reading that came before, and apply it in the ways that I've specifically kind of focused for you there, and like let it be about a purification. Okay, what did I just do? That was Cancer. So Leo, Seven of Swords and the Devil. Okay, Leo. I think this is a really big time for you. Leo, this is really important. This is really important for you guys. So what I feel is here is that there is, you know, with the Devil being here and the Seven of Swords, I feel like there is like a lineage in on a cellular level, there is memory, whether it's conscious or unconscious, of trauma and abuse and dishonesty that you have become aware of perhaps recently. And the message here for you is that you really use this time, because it's a very big portal that's opening up, a very potent portal that's opening up, that's available to all of us. But what you have the opportunity to do is to really flush out the toxins. Flush out the toxins from that traumatic, abusive experience, whether it was received experience by you, or if it's something that is in your bloodline or in your cells, in your DNA, that you have an inkling of, you know. Use this time to flush out, and set your intention at the full moon to be available for that energy to actually be cleansed and purified out of your cells. It's available to you right now, like a deep purge, a deep purification is available to you now, to give you freedom from this type of, perhaps some of you may have been experiencing some kind of repeating pattern around like dishonesty in your relationships, like people behaving badly towards you, people behind your back, addictive behaviors, unfulfilling experiences in relationships. And like you're doing all the right things, right? Like you're a good person, you're working hard, you're doing your best in life, and yet these things seem like maybe they're repeating, they keep happening and you don't know why. I'm just saying now this is a moment for you to actually purify and cleanse. There is an imprint in your DNA makeup that is allowing for this replay to keep going on, and this is your window of opportunity. There will be others too, for sure. I'm not saying that this is the only chance for you to do this, but there is an opportunity now for you to have a really deep scouring, like purification, to kind of help release that pattern of abusive, traumatic, lying, deceiving kind of relationships that may have been something in your past. This may be something in your experience. Now, I will say for all of the readings that I'm doing here for each of the signs, work with whatever resonates with you. If you're a Pisces, for example, and you're hearing this message and you can relate to it, then the message is for you too. It's kind of arbitrary, the signs. Just go with the energy that you feel relates to you, that you feel a response in your body to, and work with that energy and use that energy at the full moon to create your own ritual to help purify, set intentions to help experience like the actual potency of this full moon, and work with the energy that's available to you. That was Leo. Virgo. Two of Wands reversed and the Ten of Cups. Beautiful. I feel for the Virgo signature group, soul group, there is an opportunity here for a deep cleansing in the family unit with regard to like a vacillating, if some of you may experience, like, you may be from like tight family groups or very close loving families, and yet you might experience in your own relationships a kind of, I'm getting this visual of like one foot out the door, one foot, it's like there's a commitment issue. That basically is what it is. If there is commitment issue in your relationship, I think this is a time to purge that uncertainty, because actually what it comes from is like it's just an insecurity within you that makes you feel like maybe you're not worthy of, or not deserving of, that kind of love, that kind of support, unconditional, amazing, like supportive, loving energy that you're receiving. And I think the energy of the previous reading where I was talking about flushing out the toxins and cleansing and purifying, I think the issue for Virgo people could be with relation to feeling worthy of love and overcoming that kind of commitment, inability to commit, or like the vacillating. And it comes down to like self-worth and self-love and your ability to understand that the love that you receive is actually worthy, you're worthy of it, and you can give that too. So you have the chance at this full moon to flush out any kind of uncertainty, any kind of inability to understand your worthiness to receive, and any kind of like self-sabotaging behavior that you may have been playing out as a way to kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're not worthy of that love by actually triggering someone else to behave a certain way so that you can prove to yourself that you're not worthy of that love. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is your chance to flush out and remove that kind of obstruction or hindrance or resistance that you have to receive that love by removing the resistance that you have, by closing the door on any kind of uncertainty, and by removing your insecurities towards receiving love and just allowing that love in. It is what it is. It's already there. It's only you that your own resistance is what needs to be flushed out through this full moon. That was Virgo. What's after Virgo? I think we are doing Libra. Let's say Libra. Libra, you have the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. What I feel is here is this is a moment for you to it's similar to actually what we had at the very beginning with Pisces, where we talked about, like, we had the Four of Swords there with the Emperor. This is kind of a similar energy. What I feel this is that what you need to flush out and purify and release and resolve and forgive is your own self-imposed limitation. Because what you have available to you is this sovereignty, this very embodied energy of divine femininity, and it's nothing to do with gender. It's just simply about like embodying a sense of divinity, a sense of sovereignty, and have it be extremely grounded and present on the earth, because this is where you are. And removing this kind of self-imposed, these stories that are there that kind of are actually just stuff of the mind, like the confusion that you allow, that you give, you entertain it. You entertain confusion, you entertain doubt and irony and paradox, and that is what the confusion is from your own entertainment of those ideas. And this is, look how serene this energy is. It's just clear, present, grounded, available. Available. This is unavailability, excuses, confusion, paranoia, anxiety. Calm, serene, available. It doesn't mean the shit's not going on around you, but you're just there, dealing with it, unbothered. And that's what is available to you. So what you can work with at this full moon is the setting the intention to flush out the uncertainty, the confusion, the anxiety, the storytelling, the lies that you keep yourself bound up in that makes you unavailable to this because you're entertaining this. Okay? Is that clear, Libra? Because this grounded, serene, embodied, earthy sovereignty is your birthright. It's what's available to you. And whatever it is in your family lineage that you feel is an impediment to that, is just a story. Like you are, and as all of us are, at this time, in this lifetime right now, specifically given the signatures and codes that are coming to Earth from other places in the universe that have only been available at this time specifically, are enabling you to stand up and say, I'm the end of this genetic lineage. I'm just part of like a spiritual soul frequency of oneness. And my specific stories that have come through my genetic code don't mean anything. They don't need to bind and restrict me. I'm free from all of that stuff. I'm free and available to embody the divinity of sovereignty that is my birthright. I don't need to be held up and tied up and bound up in these stories anymore because they're not relevant. They're not relevant. They're less relevant than they've ever been. They're completely irrelevant. Yeah, they made us who we are, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. We are here for liberation. Libra, I believe in you. After Libra, Scorpio, Knight of Pentacles and the Hierophant reversed. Let's see. Knight of Pentacles and the Hierophant reversed. Hope you guys can see that. The light's a little bit too bright. Scorpio, what I feel here is, again, there's both of these energies of these two cards, the Knight of Pentacles and the Hierophant, both have a very patient kind of energy, a very committed energy, a very slow moving and deliberate and embodied kind of energy of like, there is this inevitability of the outcome being exactly perfect, like what you want. I really like that. So what I want to say here, what I feel is the message here with regards to the specific issue that you are working with at this full moon time. I feel that there is a release here for some of you around some of the impatient energy that you might feel comes through the family that you've been brought in through. I hope that makes sense. I feel like there's an impatient energy within the family code, and this is your chance to kind of break through that with this, like holding up the intention at the full moon here to release that kind of genetic code that's come through that is pressing that is processing that kind of little bit of flightiness and maybe the inability to commit to certain types of endeavors that do require like a long-term, steady, slow, patient commitment. That some of you might have come through families where there could have been like self-sabotaging behavior from one or both parents, or something or even like, again, like a lot of the stories that we're talking about here with this DNA code stuff that's coming through now is really, really, really old stuff. It's from like multiple generations ago, and that's kind of still coming through. So there could be something in there about like I'm hearing refugee. I'm hearing persecution. So again, there, like I said earlier, there is some stuff coming through here that's really big generational stuff, that large groups of humanity in specific areas of the planet, when they experience certain types of humanity issues, whether it be like war or devastation or different kinds of trauma, there is some of that kind of energy that comes through, that some of us who are sensitive and empathic and aware of like some of these issues are actually embodying and carrying, and still have like the work to do to actually resolve by forgiving and releasing. So that's what I feel is here for some of you, for the Scorpio people. So work with that energy at the full moon and be willing to kind of release any kind of energy around impatience and inability to commit. Any type of energy that might have something to do with like a kind of flighty energy, where it is that you might just kind of move from job to job, or from house to house, or from relationship to relationship, and like kind of never really actually settle into something and work through with it. It's relating to this issue around commitment and patience and loyalty and dedication and discipline. So use that energy at the full moon time to set your intention to release any of that kind of residual energy that may be in your DNA that's come through your lineage. Okay, that was Scorpio. Scorpio. Now we have Sagittarius. Justice reversed and death reversed. Wow. Really strong cards here for you, Sag. I feel that the message here for the Sagittarian soul group is that this is really a big moment for you to end any cycle of feeling like injustice, like any type of soul group type of karma that you may be carrying with relation to anything which is unjust or unfair. This is the moment where you're able to end. Look, both of these cards have knives in them. Yeah, this is a moment to end the cycle of any type of self-victimization or any kind of issues relating to things being unfair or unjust or how do I explain that? Use the energy of this full moon to just be willing to hold up and release anything that may be within your system, in your cells, in your DNA, in your bloodline, however you want to describe it, with relation to any type of experiences that have been unfair, any type of like any type of energy that may have made you feel like a victim of circumstance, of a victim of other people's behaviors or attitudes or actions, and see this as a total sweeping clear out of all that kind of residual energy related to anything where you may have felt like done wrong by someone else, or victim of other people's behavior or words or actions, or things like that. And this is for you guys. I feel like the Leo reading was very strong. This is also very strong. I feel there's a really big energy here about releasing. There's a massive chance here for you to actually totally transform your life, simply because the Death card is present there. And with the Justice card, it does really feel like big energy of like resolving and releasing. It's number 11 and number 13 from the Major Arcana. So I'm feeling this energy of revealing too, right? Like, because both of the characters in these cards are wearing these big capes, and that really stood out to me just now. So what I felt like the energy of this full moon, what's available to you is to actually remove that cape and remove that kind of shrouded energy and reveal what's beneath there. And what's beneath there is unimpeded freedom, liberation, and just pure cosmic energy available to you to just channel into whatever you want without any kind of obstacles, obstructions, limitations from from any place, but least of all from any kind of familiar or conditioning from your genetic lineage. The battery's running low, so I'm going to try to keep this moving and get through the last couple here. So that was Capricorn. Sorry, that was Sagittarius. Capricorn's next. Two of Cups and Wheel of Fortune. Awesome. So for Capricorn, I feel there's a major turning point available to you now where you're actually able to release karma in relation to intimate and dynamic relationships between individuals in a kind of like intimate sense. I feel there is a shift happening now that's available to you where you're able to actually hand over energy within you that has been keeping you in a repeating cycle with regard to your romantic endeavors, like your romantic relationships. I feel that you're awakening right now to understanding what it is in you that you have been embodying that has been repeating, and that the energy is available to you now to kind of again throw that off, like to reveal what's really true to you, is that you don't need to keep living out some cycle that you learned from your family's lineage. There is a freedom available to you now that you may not have ever experienced before with relating. But it's up to you again to like set your intention at this full moon to be actually willing and available to participate to that process of release. Because without your volunteering or without your participation in that, you won't get the most out of the experience, and you won't be conscious of what's actually happening and what you're actually working with unless you pay attention to it and you make yourself available to it. But there is something there around like your dynamic in kind of one-on-one intimate relationships with people, and the turning of this, like the Wheel of Fortune here, turning the wheel of that karma. And I feel there is this throwing off here of like ancestral patterning and conditioning around ideas about how those kind of relationships should work, how those dynamics work. There's some antiquated ideas that you are holding that you're ready to release at this time. And I feel like if you really focus your attention at this full moon and participate in your own way, create your own type of ritual, set your intentions to actually work with this energy, you'll be able to have a huge transformation in this particular area of your life. I hope this is making sense, guys. And last but not least, we have Aquarius, 10 of Pentacles and the Lovers. Wow, cool. Also, similar messages there for you that we just had with Capricorn, where I feel that there is definitely some awareness that you're waking up to with how certain types of dynamics in relationships have worked, and maybe you've been experiencing some repeating patterns in your own personal relationships, whether with like your blood family members or with your romantic relationships, where there's been some kind of I'm hearing unfortunate experiences where there's like kind of unsatisfying repeating of certain types of dynamics with people. Excuse me, again, I'm feeling like there's this energy available to you at this full moon to be able to release some of that binding of like ancestral ideas, concepts, behaviors, patterns that you can shine a light on now and be able to be released through you by again just simply participating, by showing up at this full moon and making yourself available to actually like put that stuff back where it belongs, like send it back to the center of the universe for it to be, processed and transmuted and released, and just simply reveal truth to yourselves, like to be able to be available to just pure, uninhibited, unhindered, universal life force energy to channel into just beauty and love and wisdom. So I'm going to plug the computer in now, but it might make a sound. So that's basically it for the reading. I hope that's not too long. I hope you guys made it through to the end. If you did, thanks for staying with me. Hopefully someone will put the timestamps in there for each of the signs. If not, watch the whole thing, because I think there's messages in through for each of the signs. All those messages apply to everyone because we're all dealing with the same stuff. Thanks for being with me. I hope you found that enlightening and helpful. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Enjoy the full moon. Yeah, make yourself available to the energy that's here, and and very, very readily available for us to make big transformations at this time, to purify, to cleanse, to release, to resolve, to restore, to open up, to throw off those limitations from our kind of genetic lineage that we're carrying. So to create your own ritual, do your own thing, spend it in your own way. You don't have to follow anyone else's rules or guidelines. Just do it the way that you want to do it. As long as you just make your energy available for some time during the full moon, so that you can maximize the beneficial healing energy that's being pulsed into the earth at this time. So again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. I really enjoyed giving that reading, and I will see you in the monthlies coming up soon.